Hey, how we doing? It's JJ. You find me, of course, in the bushshack shed. Just putting my zipped modded Lavu back together. As the last time I'd used it, so I just moved the Zelty out of the way. Last time I used it at a camp with Timber and State Detective and that, I'd actually used it in a stretch configuration with a centre section. Breaking down the camp, I just pulled it all apart, so we're just putting it back together and making sure that all the eyelets and all the zips and that are in good order, which they are. We'll refold the Zelty a bit later. Let's just pop that in there. Sorry, excuse me. Back turn to camera. Nice, but yeah, bit of a bushshack shed time. It's a cold January day. Got things to do. Kit maintenance. It's really important. You know, there's a couple of really good sort of sayings and phrases which are look after your kit and your kit will look after you. Totally believe that. And the other one is piss poor preparation leads to piss poor performance, and that's certainly true as well. So I like on a regular basis just to break down certain elements of kit, go over them, make sure that my axes, my knives are regularly maintained, oiled and sharpened. But doing my canvas bits of kit is really important to me. We come in here, we have a nice heater and that on the go, keep it nice and warm. We've done the Lavu, but what I want to do, excuse me, I've got quite a few lanterns, and I went out the other week and I took this, I'm surrounded by lanterns, I took this particular lantern out. I just kind of grabbed the lantern and some other bits of kit, and it just wasn't working right. I was like, what on earth is going on? Wouldn't light properly. Just, yeah, it wasn't happy. It really wasn't happy. And I thought something's got to be wrong with that. Something has got to be wrong. So, doing a little bit of maintenance, I was sat down, I had a little bit of a brainwave, and I thought, you know what, the reason it wouldn't bloody light properly is because in a paraffin stove I'd put bloody meths. What a buffoon! What an idiot. What an absolute idiot. So I've cleaned the rest of the lantern off, I've emptied it, I've drained it full of fuel, getting rid of all that fuel in there, and a real good clean of the globe because it had all sooted up. Brand new wick. And it'll be good to go again, which is exactly what we want. So just be mindful when you're filling up stoves and lanterns and all sorts, just to make sure that you're not a bell end like me and you use proper fuel. A little bit of drippage there, but we don't mind, we'll clean it up afterwards. Wipe it now. Just, I have got a door slightly ajar, sorry, and that's all good. Pop that back over there, pop the lid on. Yeah, just making sure that things work properly as they're designed and intended to do. Makes things a lot better. as I'm sure you'll agree. I'm just going to pop that back in there. Make sure that's lined up properly. Do you know what? I've just always really loved fettling about with kit. Don't know, just something about it. Make sure that my lantern with its writing on it is lined up properly. Pop that back, drop that down. Just going to let the wick sit. Yeah, the wick's working nicely. Just going to let that sit in there and that for a bit. Cool. Glad the door's slightly ajar because that stinks. I've got quite a lot of lanterns and that in here. I've actually been collecting lanterns over the last few months. So of course I've got 3 classic Führerhand lanterns. The baby, the 275 as it's known. But what I've also now got amongst my collection are, look at the size difference there. This is fully working. This is a Chowin. The Chowin was a English company that did manufacturing during the war, and as the war was coming to an end, they were like, what are we going to do to keep ourselves going once the war effort is over with? And they started doing lanterns, and they literally sold hundreds of thousands of lanterns over the years. And that Führerhand is the predominant one on the market now, because obviously Germany after the Second World War had a lot of money put back into it with the Lend-Lease Act and the rebuilding of Germany, and rightly so. But Führerhand become the market leader. But Chowins is an English brand, absolutely fantastic, and they've got quite a few within a range. So that's the biggest one that they do. Okay, that is the Tornado. They do not too much smaller, but there you've got Tempest. We've got a couple of, I've got a couple of those. We've got a couple of really old ones here dating back to the 40s and the 50s. This is the Pilot. What else have we got? That's a Lynx, very similar to the Pilot. We've got one of their more commonly ones, still bigger, look, still just slightly bigger than the Führerhand, is the Far East. And then the small one, which is very, very similar in size, is the Tropic. A couple of these are not working at the moment. I will be getting those worked on, wicks replaced, getting the correct globes put in them, and getting them all up and running. And these are great old lanterns, they really are. And it's just nice to preserve old bits of kit. You know, this is my retro corner here, and I just love, I love old bits of kit. So looking after your kit, it will look after you. And as I say, working on knives. Something else that I also need to do is I'm gonna need to just pop those out of the way for a second. I just sort of check that my raw iron pans are all sort of still in good order. I will give those a light bit of oil in and pop those into the oven just to burn off the excess oil. And what I also need to do, that's the raw iron, is my cast iron. I will get these seasoned as well and get those fired off. It's doing things like this that's really sort of important, because, you know, you spend money on your kit and you want to make sure it's going to continue to work properly. I'm just going to pop those back out of the way so we're not making too much of a mess around the table area. I do have one of my saws, my Barco Laplander. I need to take, there's my, excuse me, it's a working video, it's a working video. Where's that gone? I just want to tighten that up because I noticed it was loose the other day, just a little bit. Gets a lot of use, this. Just give it a little bit of a tighten. And that's good. The blade's all in good order. I should say, I just noticed the other day that while I was out, the blade was just a little bit loose. Such a simple tool, and that just keeping this all up to scratch and proper working order was really important for something that gets such a lot of use. It just, you know, you've got to keep on top, make sure it's going to continue to do its job properly. Right, how's this doing? How's this doing? If we just bring that up just a little bit. Happy days. We just give that a light little burn off now, just because it's got a new wick. You want to be letting it sort of bloom and draw up the fuel up from there. And so I do have the door slightly ajar. Just doing bits of things like this, keeping on top of your kit, make sure it's all in working order. And things that need oiled are oiled, things that need tightening, things that definitely need sharpening are always sharp, because when they work to their ultimate, it's more efficient for you and that as well, and less likely for things to go wrong. I've got a few more lanterns just sort of burn off that I've kind of used, and clean the globes and just do some other bits. So yeah, just come into the shed, tinker, fettle, happy days. That is working really nice. We are good. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch up again soon. I'll look after your kit, it'll look after you. Nice. Let's finish this brew. Still waffling, still talking. See you soon. Happy days.